The Creative Collective. Collaboration, not competition.
What brand was your sausage roll?
Asda.
Oh, was it warm or hot? And what? I mean,
It was tepid,
hot or
actually.
tepid? Was it, yeah, hot or cold?
It was straight from the fridge.
Oh
So I
God.
had a bit of brown sauce with it to give it a bit of spice.
Hmm.
And it wasn't. It was like the bacon and cheese ones. When I put it in, I went like that.
Yeah, that sounds horrendous.
Well,
That wasn't your lunch, was it?
no, it was just to tide me over whilst we record TCC Snap P3
Yeah. P3.
Part 3.
Oh, nice, nice. Love that. Yeah, here we are again. Slightly later than build because of my schedule, so apologies for that. But we are here, and so it's been a good couple of days. We had an awesome meeting yesterday with everybody named Alex turning up, so that was good. That was the theme for the meeting, and then we've just come off a peer-to-peer mastermind session, which will be on the channel anyway. So it's a lovely segue.
Oh, beautiful.
So it's beautiful. But today you brought up a subject about your beige hoodie.
Yes. Is it okay for a creative business person to wear a beige hoodie? Now, it's because we're writing a course. Ben's laughing at me. I feel uncomfortable now, and not just because of my beige hoodie. Um, we're sorting out a course behind the scenes of what we normally do with the Creative Collective about networking, and we've got a bit in there about how to present yourself. Now, if you look at me at the minute, I don't necessarily look that much like your stereotypical creative person, I would guess, because I've got, in my mind, a very boring beige hoodie on. So, how should you present yourself when you are at networking events if you're a creative business? Apart from being, if this is what I wore all the time, it'd be fine. But I don't. I don't know why I've got it. I hate it.
You hate it.
And for the eagle-eyed uh, meeting viewers from yesterday, I had it on yesterday as well.
Yeah, well, that's okay. There's no issue with that. I think there's a couple of things to this. The first thing I would say is if it's quite a boring hoodie, I think it would depend on what your jeans or trousers or shoes would look like. Because if you had some out
This has
there,
already gone so much further than I could ever have imagined.
that is the beauty. Because if you've got some yellow, just say yellow trousers on, and then some pink shoes, well, then you're going to look well, you're going to look very eccentric and very creative. So I think it would depend on your whole wardrobe. I don't know what you've got on.
Just some
Well,
jeans.
some beige jeans
This is
and
just a
some.
very long hoodie.
um, but in going back to your question, yeah, I've thought this, but then what does a slash a slash what does a quote unquote creative person dress like? Because I don't think there's a uniform, is there?
No, and obviously you have to feel comfortable in what you're wearing. But I think there has to be, for me, I think I definitely started to try and wear things that were brighter. And
Okay.
and in the shop, this is obviously one of the first times I did it. I was like, oh, beige, that's quite a light, bright color without really thinking about it too much. Should have been the yellows and turquoises and stuff like that. Um, because yes, I think there might be another question. Should your clothing, and I don't mean like branded clothing for your business, like with logos on it and stuff, should your clothing match your brand? So if my logo is like basically all of the colors of the rainbow, so I shouldn't be wearing beige or black, all black, because that's not my logo shows my personality, but this doesn't. So I think I'm more leaning into, do you have to dress smartly for business meetings if you don't ever dress smartly, that sort of thing? Is it okay not to these days?
Well, it is an interesting one. I think that I think if you were working in the creative industry and you wore a suit, and what I mean by a suit, like a business suit, because you can get
Mm.
alternative looking suits,
Yeah.
and that's where the kind of the spectrum is, isn't it? Because you've got business suit, and then to the very right of that, you can look completely creative in a suit because it's a different fit, different materials, and everything like that. So it's not even as simple as you can't wear a suit. I think it comes down to, I mean, clothing in general. Do you do you want to go into a business meeting or a networking meeting or even a shoot if you're a photographer, videographer, or whatever you do, your place of work, in your uniform, what you'd call your uniform? Because I think there's something mental in terms of, right, I'm getting dressed like this is where it starts. And then you're in that frame of mind. Whereas I know that if I showed up to a shoot in joggers and a hoodie, where in my own mind that's how I relax, it would put me in a completely wrong frame of mind. So I think it's less about brand, especially if you're working for yourself. I think it's less about branding, more about how you are mentally, or how you carry yourself mentally to that shoot. Different for you because you're in a box, aren't you, doing yours?
Yeah. Literally doesn't matter what I wear, as long as it's not
Yeah.
noisy. No, like no jingle bells on the down the sides of my jeans or anything like that, because it would obviously wouldn't work. But yeah, I very rarely have to go and meet someone for like a business type meeting. I go to networking events where maybe 70% of the, no, more than that, probably 80% of the people will be dressed smartly. They will have blazers or dresses or suits, because I think there's something that says, well, it's a business networking meeting. I must go along and put my best self forward. And people think that best self means dressing smartly. Whereas my best self is me being me and just talking to people. That has nothing to do with if I'm dressed smartly or not.
Do you think you can guess the line of work by how people dress?
I once guessed what a fireman did because he had a fireman's helmet on. It's like, yes, sometimes. um, I think you might be able to guess like the sector, maybe, or the area.
I reckon I could spot a financial advisor.
I was going to say things like finance, anything to do with maybe, yeah, uh, financial advisors, accountants, mortgage brokers, maybe those businesses would
And
almost
I would
almost.
also go on.
I was going to say they would sure almost definitely be a bit smarter. I think perhaps because they're more client facing more often, and they have to give off perhaps a at least a perception of professionalism, because if they're handling people's finances, they want
Mm.
confidence in that person that they don't turn up in ripped jeans and a t-shirt with a sleeve missing, that sort of thing.
Yeah, the counter to that is though that if you're established in a meeting and everybody knows what you do anyway, you could absolutely turn up like that because then it shows the other side of you, the more human side, rather than the buttoned up, financial advisor.
Mm.
Yeah, I reckon I would definitely spot, even without branding, I would definitely spot the IT people in terms of
Mhm.
how they dress because that's a tucked in polo shirt, isn't it?
I was just going to say polo shirt. Yeah, polo shirt, and then sometimes jeans, sometimes trousers.
Yeah. Sometimes Billy Bollock. Sometimes they're completely naked.
Well, could I get an intro?
So yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? But I also think that talking about my own sector, videographers and photographers, I reckon I'd spot them. Well,
Mhm.
yeah, I would spot them in a networking meeting because then you're probably looking at flannel shirts, beards,
Yeah.
if they're women. Um,
Does does it matter to you what someone's wearing at a networking event? I'm just trying to think.
does it matter?
Yeah, like because if I go into a room and there's loads of people wearing suits or dressed very, very smartly, and I'm not, even though I want to be there to give the truest version of myself, I'm not going to wear a suit because I never wear suits and I'm not that, it's just not me. I would prefer to give off myself to everyone. By walking into those rooms, there's a certain amount of intimidation felt because the perception that comes across from those people in suits is high-powered business people straight away, and there's me
Yeah.
strolling in with my with my cap and my
Yeah,
hoodie and dirty
beige hoodie.
trainers.
I think you've got to own it. I think you've got to go in there. And if you're the only one or two people dressing like that, that's great because it means you're standing out a lot more.
Mm.
I mean, the other way to do it is to get some branded hoodies. That would be an awesome thing to do,
I
especially with your logo, because that would work.
did get a
And it,
t-shirt with that on.
yeah, exactly. And that way you're going in, you're being yourself, um, and you're feeling comfortable. Because that's what it comes down to, doesn't it? You're feeling you got to feel comfortable in
Mm.
what you're wearing.
Mm.
Right. Um,
Talking about feeling comfortable in what you're wearing, do you think wrestlers ever feel comfortable just in their pants, touching each other, another person who's just in their pants?
I think it takes quite a lot of getting used to,
Mm.
but then it's like anything, it's like any job. It's you probably don't you get so used to it you don't even notice it after a while.
Mm.
What I always thought about wrestlers' uniform is why why on earth is the most popular uniform just pants? I always think wear trousers. They look
But
better.
but trousers without like if you was just to see someone down the town with trousers and no top,
Yeah.
it that sort of says to me, "Cause something's going on there." More than if they just had pants on, because at least they've got no top and no legs. It's just pants. But if they've got no top and their trousers, what? How did that happen?
Hang on. So so hang on. So if someone
I hope people are getting great value from this because I am.
hang on, hang on. So I'm crying. So so if you're walking down Sittingbourne High Street and someone was walking down with just pants on, you would think there was less of an issue than if they had just trousers on. Is that what you're saying?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow. I mean I can't agree with that because anything could have happened at the top half and you've still got trousers on. But if you've got pants on, you're making two choices then.
Or one. I'm just going to wear pants today.
Well, that's true. But then that's other issues as well. But
Oh,
anyway, we're not talking about the high street. We're talking about a squared circle. Why wouldn't you?
so
Why would you?
the oddest one for wrestling is the singlet.
Oh yeah.
So the thing with just one strap
Oh
there
yeah.
just looks awful.
Yeah, with pants as well.
Yes. Yeah, because yeah, with pants and leggings, because wasn't that Jerry the King Lawler's look?
Yes, it was. Yeah. Yeah.
So sort of half superhero, half
Yeah.
I don't
God
know.
rest his soul.
No, he's still alive.
What, Jerry Lawler?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good. He passed away.
Any Jerry Lawler fans? Sorry about that.
Yeah, don't panic. Don't panic.
Panic over.
No, I thought he had. Right, well, there you go. So I think in summary, um, go to attend business meetings, attend networking meetings, attend shoots or whatever your place of work is in the most comfortable way, I think.
Just quickly then, when does what you're wearing become inappropriate? So,
Oh,
for
wow.
example, yeah, for
That's a
example,
good question.
and the example I always use when talking to people about voiceover is a funeral parlor. So if a funeral director came to a networking event just to meet some people, but he was dressed in clown shoes, had big red face paint for his a huge mouth and that sort of thing, it just wouldn't compute, would it? You would be like, but he's a few what? It just wouldn't work in your brain. So when does it become too much? Is there a line, like for me, for example, what could I turn up dressed like? How casual is okay?
Yeah, so I'm thinking something like if you were wanting to dress really casually and maybe had a band t-shirt on that had swearing, for instance,
Mm,
because we've all seen those, or just a t-shirt with swearing or something offensive. Well, look, I suppose it goes without saying if it's offensive that people in the room could be offended by, well, that's obviously a no-no on in a number of ways. But then, yeah, where is that line? Because I could look at something and find something, potentially funny or not offensive that the next person could put in a complaint, or vice versa. It's so. Yeah, that's a great question. I also think that maybe women have it harder as well with that, especially because they have more potentially more options to dress in certain ways. Um, so yeah, I think that's a difficult one as well.
answers
Um,
in the comments below. That's my thing
yeah,
now.
yeah, no, I like it. I like it. It's good. Yeah, it is a difficult one now. Um,
Mm,
food for thought.
indeed.
I haven't really thought it through. Um,
We didn't really
yeah,
think
what? So,
the whole episode through though, did we? So,
well, that is very true. Can you think of a time where you've looked at a person and thought, "Blimey, that's that is no, no." I mean, following on the theme from inappropriateness, because I don't think I can. I think
there was one time. This is in a different situation, and the only example I can think of was at a gig in Canterbury, I think. I can't remember what the venue was called. Yeah, something like that. And it was a band that I knew. I'm not going to mention any names, just in
go on.
case. No, I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay.
It was Slingshot Around the Moon. No, it wasn't. Um, and my friend at the time came up to me and said, "Oh, look at the singer's trousers. I think they're a bit too tight."
Oh,
And you
yes.
could see everything,
Yeah, yeah.
everything. That was inappropriate. And yeah, I don't know how I feel about it because it was so obvious.
Was it?
Yeah,
But was it so obvious because it was a sock?
well, I don't know.
'Cause that's, that happens as well.
It does. It does. I don't think it was a sock.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but in business, I don't think so.
No.
Does
And
that
also, if you're in a band, I mean, you can't be a prude going to a gig, can you? Because that's the whole thing about music. It's
true?
self-expression. It's do what you want. And the punk attitude, isn't it?
We had a naked drummer once,
Are
so
you joking? Completely Billy
completely
Bollocks.
naked. We did a show in uh, Sittingbourne. Of course, it was Sittingbourne. This is coming back to the walking down the high street. And we all went on stage, and our drummer wasn't there, and we knew he was up to something. And he walked from the back of the room because that's how you got into the room, twiddling his drumstick over his head, completely naked.
Wow.
There's photos of people going.
So, and he didn't tell you.
I can't remember whether he told us the first time or not because he did it again a couple of times after that. But the first time, I can't remember whether we were in on it or not.
But that, I mean, that is problematic. If you're go, isn't it? If you're if you're like fair enough in a way, if you're setting or walking to the drum kit from the back of the stage because you're not in anybody's space, then are you?
Yeah.
If you're twiddling your drumstick, walking through crowds, that is
It was a real, it was, yeah, it was a drumstick. It wasn't anything else that he was twiddling, just to
no.
confirm.
Well, I know.
What made it weirder was that he still had his trainers,
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Wow. Okay.
trainers and socks.
Um, it's a good look. It's a good look. Okay. Well, I think that's pretty much it, isn't it? I think I don't know what we've achieved in the last 20 or so minutes.
There's got to be something in there for someone. Dig deep,
Yeah,
dig deep.
potentially.
I wasn't
Potentially.
recording.